Omi Chuchi Inje Parando, Tusu Sanya Kunya Ngwanya, Rasa Chokongo Sotun Sapa, Zava Lamana Languja, Tabia Doja Cheche Resoto, Shinje Menda Doje Ponjamba, Seche Lombo Tapa Jebeko, Seche So De Languja, Doji Chanche Tele Naroda, Mamba Bela Chuche Kamboba, Pomaroba, Jamwanta Gomba, Kaju Lamana Languja. Good morning. Generally, we all want to be can call the meaningful life, that our life have some kind of purpose, some kind of meaning. What we're doing, I think. Like in the many teaching, we said it always translates emptiness with the essence of compassion, but I think meaning is emptiness with the emptiness and compassion. If you do anything, it have essence. Not the essence of compassion. I think translation is maybe a little bit rough there, but my understanding is when we're practicing Dharma, that Dharma practice with the meditation of the emptiness and the compassion, then it becomes meaningful. Reason is I think anything what we do, make sure it bring long-term benefit. I think even the daily basic, if we do self-centered, for example, in our daily life, if we put ourselves as most important, and maybe at the moment we may experience certain degree of pleasure, joy, but at the end of the day, you will get sense of guilty. End of the day, there is a certain degree of a kind of like unpleasantness comes from that self-center. But when put other is more important than yourself, at that moment you may get really tired. But at the end of the day, you get sense of joy. I think that is count. Because end of the day, what you feel is to stay longer than what you feel at the moment. So that is to look at as a long-term benefit. If something we do that get us a long-term benefit, it can say with the essence. If we do something that is a really short-term benefit, it have no essence. There's no meaning. It's like a bubble in the water. It's like rainbow. It looks beautiful, but there nothing you can hold on, nothing you can use. So I think that is how we have to look what is really have a meaningful and what is have no meaning on the we look back the Milareva's life story. At the moment, his life was one of the, I think, can say most miserable one. when he was laid down on the roadside, a bunch of girls walking on the street, and they said, nobody be born like this guy. They literally said, nobody become like this. Have sympathy to Milarepa. And Milarepa said, you have sympathy to me, but I have more sympathy to you than you do. Because when you see me, I'm a miserable one. But when Buddha see me, I'm the one most happiest, most great person. Yeah? Because deep down live, at that time, Milarepa was one of the greatest happiness, at the state of happiness, you can say. So then, and also after the death, when ordinary people died, nobody remember. Died, then the people have kind of what called funeral. Then after the funeral, pretty much even family members slowly forget. Yeah, I mean, they are not much meaningful with the life if we died that way. If we died something that we did something that can stay long term. People will talk about that long after, like we talk about Milarepa even now, after that many years. Make sense? So I think that can be said, this is the meaningful. I'm not talking about the stay fame after the death. I'm not talking about. But from the Milarepa's life story, when we talk Milarepa's life story, it benefit for us. It helps us so many different ways. Same thing as some extraordinary person's life when we discuss, when we talk about them. It gives us lots of lessons, teachings, whatever we can call. So that is, I think, really meaningful. Otherwise, I mean, wake up, eat breakfast, go work, come back, go to sleep, and that's just normal. They're nothing special. When the whole life do that way, when they die, then gone. Like Kambaba said, if you give to the other your wealth, it's yours. If you keep in home, it's not yours. Because when you give, actually at the moment, you're losing what you have. But long term, it will benefit you. When if you keep it home, since if you feel like you own those all wealth. But when we die, even we cannot take our body. So when we give to others, it not just only benefit this life, next life too. When they keep home, actually it's even not benefit this life. It's only give us suffering of a protection. People have to buy lots of insurance, not insurance, security. Paying lots of money and worrying so much on the possession. I'm not saying it's people who have a possession is a negative. It's not negative. It's just a positive. You have good merit, that way you have the money or whatever you have, possession. But how use that one? You can make that as a positive, or it can become a negative. I think the question is, you want to be master of your possession, or you want to be slave of your possession? I heard one American rich person said, when you died with the wealth, you are not wealthy, because you didn't get a chance to use them. So that is showing us what is a really meaningful life. Do something that is a benefit long-termly. Even at the moment, you make you may get lots of difficulty, you may get lots of challenge. But if it benefit long-termly, you can tolerate those challenge. You can tolerate those difficulty. Make sense? So I think, as last week I said, reason is why we are more comfortable when do good things. More give us more peace or relax or happiness because we're meeting more with the nature, our nature, and we all have that nature. When we do good things, we become more comfortable, more happy, more relaxed. When we do bad things, from that moment, we have a sense of guilty, sense of uncomfortable, sense of unhappiness bring us from that negative action, anything. So I think that reason Lord Jiten Sungha said, karmic ripening is you will see within this life. We Tibetan normally said, all time karma, ripening karma is a take. It's like a circling to the mountain. When you circle in the mountain, it takes time to get back to where you start. Nowadays, starting karma is circling to the pillar. Say really quick. I think all time too. At the moment what we start, good or bad, from there too we experience the result. From at the moment of what we start. Make sense? From there too we will experience the result. Even it make you physically tired, but still give you great joy. That is count end of the day. Tiredness is a go away, but joy will stay with us. So, reason is we all share that latent nature, can say. We call the Buddha nature, Tathagata Garba. And Gamboba in Jewel Ornament, and the Gamboba said, nature of samsara is empty. Appearance of samsara is diluted. So that way, characteristic of samsara is suffering. Nature of nirvana is empty. Manifest or appearance nirvana is free from the delusion. That way, nirvana is free from suffering. So nature is the same. Samsara or nirvana, sentient being or a Buddha. But different is one is diluted, one is free from delusion. So that is here actually Maitreya is explaining that we all have that nature, potential, capacity. But some more close to the nature, some more distance from the nature. Only that is different. So here in this text, Utarratantra mention Buddha nature, essence of the Buddha, with 9 examples, like a lotus, a kind of decline lotus, yeah, Buddha in the decaying lotus, honey in the mass of bees. That is an example. Decaying lotus is a delusion. Buddha is the nature of our mind. Until we remove the bees, you cannot taste the honey. So same thing is, until we remove the defilement, we cannot taste the Buddhahood, latent sweetness, happiness. So that way, we have to learn how to remove those defilement or obstacles. I think how to we remove or how to free ourselves from that is, for example, when sun comes, more sun come close to us, more light comes. When more light comes, darkness naturally go away. Don't have to do anything else to remove the darkness. Same thing as when we do accumulate the merit of the sunlight, more we accumulate the merit of the sunlight, we can free more, get close to the nature, because freeing more that delusion of darkness. Other than that, there are no and how to we can accumulate the more merit is try to understand what is the negative emotion. Because even we do some degree of merit or a virtuous deed, but same time we have those afflicted emotion, that emotion damage again. So that way, if we want to be completely free from that suffering, and we have to learn how to be free from that negative emotion. Because longest we have a negative emotion, we cannot be free from suffering. Negative emotion, that is the cause to creating the suffering. So that way, how to free from that negative emotion is through the positive emotion. When we do positive emotion, when we have a positive emotion, we engage the positive action. That is called the merit. Anything what we do. When our mind is a corrupted negative emotion, we naturally do negative action. Then from that negative action to create the suffering consequences. So that is the how we realizing the how we saying even we have that nature until we are free from what called defilement of like a decaying lotus or mass of a bee. We cannot be experience the enlightened state of a Buddha or like a taste of honey. Make sense? So that reason we're practicing the Dharma. So that earlier I mentioned meaningful. When we practice the Dharma, it will bring us to permanent, ultimate happiness. Why is called the permanent and ultimate? Because once we remove that, temporary destruction, temporary defilement, then we meet with the nature. The nature is not changing, not going to change. That way, it is a permanent. And different with that happiness and the samsaric happiness is samsaric happiness always ends with the suffering. No matter what we experience in the worldly pleasure, always have always going to be end with some kind of emotion, suffering emotion. But when we meet with this nature of Buddhahood, and there are no kind of other than that feeling. They are not going to be experienced other than that feeling of joy. And this nature and the samsaric state we call the gotra, or we call the potential or a family. But when we realize that nature, and it become a Buddhahood. Buddhahood, in here earlier mentioned, it's okay. There's called the three nature are the Dharmakaya, Tathagata, Gotra, to be understood respectively through 3, 1, 5 examples. So the nature can be called as a Dharmakaya, can be called as a Tathagata, can be called as a Gotra or family. Kanjara was translated in the Juloname family, same as a Gotra mean. Those three what called nature is with the 9 examples. First is called the Dharmakaya. The Dharmakaya know by 2 examples. Dharmakaya, there's called the perfectly immaculated Dharmadhatu, and awakening from the favorable condition. Yeah, so like a perfectly immaculated Dharmadhatu is like a Buddha inside the lotus. And gradually, with a favorable condition, the awakening that has two subjects. One is called the profound, one is called the manifold aspect. Profound is like a honeybee, and manifold aspect is mean like a Buddhist 12 linga, your what called the teachings or 8 noble paths for Dharma or for noble truth, and those kind of things called the manifold aspect. So profound meaning is like a honey, and a manifold aspect is like a husk in the grain. So gradually remove them. That is the first example called the Dharmakaya. from the 9 example, 3 of them. This is a little bit give you a headache, but you will get there. From the 9 example to first one as a 3 example. First is a Dharmakaya as a 3 examples. Dharmakaya is divided into 2. One is called the immaculated Dharma, what called the Dharmadhatu, is a naturally abide one. Yeah. Second one is a with the favorable condition. Favorable condition mean like we call the wisdom, hearing, contemplate, meditation. That is named as a wisdom. So with the favorable condition, awakening that nature. So that favorable condition have 2 kind of teachings. That what is the favorable condition is the Buddhist teaching. 2 kind of teachings, profound one and manifold aspect. Profound is like teaching on the emptiness, yeah, teaching on the Mahamudra. And manifold aspect is teaching of the variety, like Four Noble Truth, Eight Noble Path, all those different kind of teaching is called the manifold aspect. So by those 2, profound and manifold aspect, we can awake our nature. Make sense? So that Dharmakaya is it can be naturally abide one. One is mean the naturally abide one. 2 is through the gradually awake one. So first example from the 9, Buddha in the lotus is like naturally abide one. Dharmakaya. Within us, everyone have that one. That Dharmakaya. But then 2, gradually, with a favorable condition, gradually awaken one is only who practice the Dharma can have that experience. When you gradually practice the Dharma, receive teaching, meditate on that, and gradually you have that experience. You have that awakening. So those 2 examples. What kind of teaching we're receiving is called the profound and manifold aspect. Yeah? So that one. Then third example is there's a second one is called, first one is a Dharmakaya. Now second one is called the Tathagata. The nature is named as a Tathagata. Tathagata is said to be similar to the substance of the gold, because this essence is immaculated, perfectly pure and noble. Fourth example is a gold in the field or dirt. So that is like Tathagata. Tathagata means that nature remain continually. We are in the samsara or we achieve the nirvana, but our nature never change. Same thing as gold. You wearing the really fancy jewelry gold and clean, it's remain going to stay really pure, or you fall that in the mud long period of time, still stay gold. Gold itself, nothing change. So, when one time we were collecting buried object from the monastery, because old monastery destroyed at that time, or during that one time. Then, those objects, I think I mentioned this, put in the metal box and buried underground. Metal box pretty much rotten. They are not left much. But within those objects, precious objects, there's one gold, the damarus, the middle, the holder, to holder that is made by gold. Gold is really still, it's after the many years in the dust, still really like kind of like a shiny, still it remains same kind of way to, nothing change. So same thing as the Tathagata. Because it's like a gold, nothing Can say nothing change? Yeah. Then that is the fourth example. Now there's a remain 5. Yeah. It's a Gotara or family. So there's the one verse 149. We start from here. One should know the potential as having two aspects, similar to be treasure and the tree grow from the fruit. That naturally present since the beginningless time, and that perfectly through the proper cultivation. So this is called the two kind of a Gotara, or two kind of a nature. One is called the naturally abide Gotara, or naturally abide. Tibetan word called Rashiginebiri. That what called potential is a naturally abide, and another one is called the gradually developed. Make sense? Gradually developed. So this two kind of the Buddha nature or Gotara is two kind. One is we always have naturally abide. You know, naturally abide. Potential here translate as a potential. Okay, then the second one is perfectly through the proper cultivation. As what is the proper cultivation? Proper cultivation is hearing, contemplate, and meditation. Through that too, and we can awake. So this is a developed potential. So sometimes some people said, "Oh, Buddha nature is not permanent." Yeah, because you can what called the cultivate through the proper through the perfect through proper cultivation. Can say yeah. So this is this is develop is not the developing that nature is, that developing the it's a name as a develop because we are freeing that obstacles, obscuration. More free from the obscuration, more shine come. That nature. So that way called is develop. Yeah. So that way it's not talking about the it's something that created. From this twofold. So twofold is mean the naturally present and the proper cultivation. From this twofold, potential come achievement of the three Buddhakaya. The first through the former, and the other two through the later. So this is first through the former, and other two later. First through the former mean Dharmakaya. First achieve the Dharmakaya. Make sense? First achieve the Dharmakaya, or Dharmakaya is naturally abide. So that is the first one, Dharmakaya. Talking about the first. What is the first one? As it has said, naturally presence Gotara is the Dharmakaya. Then said, other two through the later mean when we practice the Dharma, which is called the perfect through proper cultivation, then we can awake. When we awake, there will be manifestation comes. What is the manifestation? It's a Sambhoga Kaya and Nirmana Kaya. Sambhoga Kaya and Nirmana Kaya come from the Dharma Kaya, manifestation of the Dharma Kaya. So that way, it means the first through the former, the other two through the later. Mean the later is after the achieve the Dharma Kaya, we can have a manifestation of a Sambhoga Kaya and Nirmana Kaya. Make sense? So that Dharmakaya is called the true aspect of a pure. What is the true aspect of pure? Is a naturally pure. That is, doesn't matter samsara or nirvana. Sentient beings, the Dharmakaya and Buddha's Dharmakaya is the same, naturally pure. But free from the, gradually free from the temporary defilement is who achieve the Dharmakaya, who achieve the Buddhahood. So Dharmakaya itself is called the true purity, naturally pure and pure from the temporary defilement. So that is the Dharmakaya. From that, the Dharmakaya and manifests as a Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya. In other words, we use as a, in Latin, what called the spontaneously manifests as a, in Latin activities. So Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya is the in Latin activities. Spontaneously comes from the within the Dharmakaya state. So there's a two kind of three kaya come from the those, or you can say two kayas, Dharmakaya and Rupakaya. Dharmakaya is a come from the naturally presence of the Gotra, and Rupakaya is a come from the proper cultivation. Make sense? Yeah. The embodiment of the magnificent essence should be known as a being similarly be statue made of the precious substance, being naturally and non-created, and a treasure of jewel-like quality. So this is called the Dharmakaya. Is like statue inside the rake. Yeah, in the example, 50 example, as I said, Buddha's statue inside the mud or rake. Dharmakaya is like that. Manifesting essence, magnificent essence, or otherwise it can call the what a Salvivagakaya. It is like a treasure. It's just like a treasure jewel. You can say it precious. That way it's called a jewel-like quality. That is the Dharmakaya. Then perfect expression of is like a Chakravartin being endowed with the greater Dharma's majesty, like the golden image or the emanation having the very nature of a representation. So this is talking about the Sambhogakaya is like a what's the monarch king inside the womb. What's called inside the womb. So perfectly expression like a Chakravartin being endowed with a greater Dharma majesty. So mean greater Dharma majesty of the profound and manifold aspect teachings. Is there like a universal monarch inside the womb? Like the golden image are the emanations. This is called the Nirmanakaya Buddha. Nirmanakaya Buddha is like a gold statue inside the clay. Yeah. So those are 9 examples of the of 3. There's a Buddha nature as a name as a can call Dharma Dhatu or Dharmakaya, Tathagata, Gotra, and Dharmakaya as a example with the 3. Tathagata example with the 1 and Gotra example with the 5. Or family. So I think this is basically saying it's the same as in the we call the in the Mahamudra teaching, ground Mahamudra, path Mahamudra, resolve Mahamudra. Ground Mahamudra means that nature of a mind. Talking about path is through the instruction, and we practice. That's the path. When we practice, we have a result of realization. That is called the result of a Mahamudra. Same thing as we call the Buddha nature and three kayas. It's kind of same, those two. When we realize, it's what called we see that directly that nature. When even we not realize, still we have that potential. Now, the question is, okay, we talk about we have that potential, and that potential is we have to somehow realize that one. We talk about that we have that nature. Some point we have to realize that nature. How we can realize that one? Because that nature cannot express by literally, word by word. Cannot give you exactly explanation on that nature. Because ordinary language have not enough expression to how to explain the ultimate. And also, we don't have that ultimate something that can show like image. Make sense? To introduce us. So look like there are huge gap between that state and ordinary beings like us. I mean, we have some kind of glimpse of oh, maybe there's Buddha nature. I believe there's Buddha nature. I hope there's Buddha nature. We have some kind of doubt like that. But we don't have a proof that, oh yeah, I have a Buddha nature because of this. I can show you that. So that way, we don't have directly contact to that can realize. You know, like when you're flying, you really hope there is an airport that can land. We need certain degree of faith for that. When somebody tells, oh, there's an airport, we need a faith for that. Then have to go with a trust. Try to land on that. You know, when somebody give you direction to how to cook, like you, for example, you're making a pie. you haven't never made, then you need faith for that cookbook. Make sense? If you have a faith, you will follow that direction. When you follow that direction, you can make the pie. That is a faith mean. So if you haven't done that before, and you don't know what it looks like or how to be, what will become, can say here. So then you need certain degree of faith. Faith is come from there. Certain degree of things that we out of human reach, out of ordinary beings reach. When we talk about that, then we need faith to, when we talk about that, we need faith to reach that one. Make sense? Faith mean like same as cooking. You really need trust on your cooking book. Then you will follow exactly what called the recipe. You will make that one. Same thing. So we have to follow the recipe of the Buddha's teaching to reach that ultimate. Without that trust, you cannot reach that ultimate. So how to get that ultimate or essence? See, here says, this ultimate truth of the spontaneously born is to be understood by faith alone. The orb of the sun may shine, but it cannot be seen by the blind. For us, ultimate, talking about the ultimate is like a blind person talking about the sunshine. Couldn't see, because we have not enough wisdom eye. Make sense? But we need a certain degree of trust on that to me. When somebody said, "Oh, sun is a shine this way, that is sunshine." So I think they said ultimate truth be spontaneously born, is to be understood by the faith alone. So what does this mean? It means have to have faith on the instruction. Of the teaching of the Buddha, what Buddha said. So that way, I'm sure you saw this many times. They always mention ultimate is what called relies by the faith. Many times this mentioned this one. That's true. Because ultimate cannot give you someone exactly what called the image, a picture of that. And then Osho said Buddha was misunderstood. It means the ultimate try to express by ordinary language. Ordinary word have not enough. The ordinary cannot express. Ordinary language cannot express that ordinary or that ultimate. Because ultimate is beyond the concept of word. So if you want to understand that beyond the concept of a word, you need faith. You need trust to someone's guidance. I mean, that is a faith mean. Faith doesn't mean that something that, just believe. I think faith means with follow the reasonable explain. Can say or follow the instruction. Normally when you drive in someone and somebody give you instruction, even you may feel maybe not sure this one, but if you have a faith, then you without worry you will go there. I mean, just recently we went to New York. We don't know exactly which road or where gate, but we follow the GPS. And we have a faith through GPS. That way we got New York exactly where we need to go. If we say, oh, maybe not sure GPS is correct, we go to somewhere else because I think maybe this is better, we may lose, yeah? I think faith is that way. When you don't know anything, if you don't have clear information, explanation, then you have to follow someone's instruction. So that is here talking about but isn't faith as sometime in the we said faith as a just trust, and some people have, what I'm saying is that some people have sense of faith mean you don't have to do anything. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I don't have a word clearly expression.
Blind faith.
Yes, can call blind faith, but also that lazy faith. Oh, have devotion, that's good enough. I think this is more like a intelligent faith. Intelligent faith means you have to understand what that telling you, what Buddha telling you, and you have to learn how to follow that instruction. But when you're following, you need a certain degree of trust on the Buddha. Otherwise, you will waste whole your life to doing that one. Make sense? So because I don't know in the English word is a faith as it can be become, but in Tibetan sometimes called Depa mean they just have a kind of faith and you don't have to do anything. Sometimes people feel that way. But here, faith alone mean we have to trust to instruction, to how to get that nature. Because we have not capacity to directly see that nature. We are far away from that nature. So when we want to reach that nature directly, face to face, you need to face a trust or faith through that instruction to how to get there. So that be so need faith. And but here example of the sun ray is blind people cannot see sun ray, mean blind as a no faith, cannot see as a sunlight ray of wisdom. And another quote said, being who have no devotion or no faith cannot be generate any kind of dharma realization. It's like a roasted seed cannot be produce any what called the grain. Yeah. There's nothing whatever to remove from this, nor the slightly things through their own to add it. Truly beholding the true nature, when truly seen, complete liberation. There's nothing to remove from this, because primordially pure, naturally pure. Buddha nature is primordially naturally pure. That way there is nothing. No slightly things, there is no added. If anything added can become impermanent. Make sense? So nothing need to add it. Truly beholding the true nature, or free from fabrication, when truly seen, completely liberate. So that is called the liberation. It means the meeting with the nature. Because a fabricated one give us suffering. When we meet with the nature, and it only give us joy. That is one example. You see, when you're in your heart arising, I can say arise, yeah, afflict emotion like anger, hatred, give us suffering. When we have compassion, love, then it gives us joy, because compassion, love, joy, those are close to the nature, part of the nature. And hatred and jealousy, anger, they are opposite of the nature. The eliminate is a divide from of the transcendent things to be purified, that have a character separable from it. It is not a divide of the ultimate quality of a character in differentiable from it. It means things that not part of the nature can be eliminated, can be purified, can be removed. Like a lotus is not part of the Buddha. That way can be separate. Even Buddha is inside the lotus. Nothing change inside the lotus or come out of the lotus. Same thing is the nature is nature characters what called it is not divide of the ultimate quality, enlightened quality, because it is a part of that. Now, here as I said, important of the Buddha essence teachings. Why have to be taught Buddha essence teaching? When Shakyamuni Buddha was teaching, first he gave the Four Noble Truths, teaching of the Four Noble Truths. And in the Four Noble Truths, basically explain the cause and condition and result. Yeah. Then there's two kind of basically positive cause and result and negative cause and result. When we do positive action, it will give us a positive result. When we do negative action, it will give us a negative result. That is a generally Four Noble Truth mean. Then second will of Dharma, Buddha gave the emptiness. No, like Heart Sutra said, no form, no sound, no smell, no taste. So that is the main point of the empty. So everything is empty of any substantial nature of its own. In the so that is the second will of Dharma. And the third will of Dharma, Buddha state that all beings possess the Buddha essence. And Buddha explained that essence is from the ordinary being to until Buddhahood. So here said, he had taught in the various places that every knowable things is ever void, like a cloud, dream, or illusion. Why therefore did Buddha declare the essence of the Buddhahood to be present in every sentient beings? So this question comes. And the second will of Dharma, Buddha said everything is a emptiness. Every phenomena are like a cloud, or like a mirage, or like a dream, or like so there nothing is a solid. Nothing is existent inherently. Then how can explain every sentient being have a Buddha nature? That is the question. And answer is there are 5 mistakes feigned. Heartedness, contempt for those for lesser ability, belief in the false, and slanting the true meaning, and self-cherishing. Those 5 false, 5 mistakes. Faint-heartedness mean discouraged. Oh, I cannot do this. I'm not good enough. I think many times we have that. So one time I was talking to the Tibetan radio. They asked me about the Milarepa. I said Milarepa is the one good example to practitioner. Reason is a Tibetan tradition. Every Lama, we always have said some kind of reincarnation. They always label with the reincarnation. Then it makes us seem say, oh, look like say, all the good practitioners are reincarnation of some Buddha. It brings us to sense that, oh, ordinary being cannot be that way. Make sense? So I said, Milarepa, when his disciple asked him, I think you are reincarnation of Tilupa or the Vajratara or something, and Milarepa's answer was, that is good for your Lama's devotion, that you think as your Lama as a Tilupa or Vajratara. But this is a really wrong view, law of nature, the phenomena, because you don't believe that my hard work bring this result. Still you think I'm some kind of reincarnation. So you don't believe the result of my hard work. Make sense? So he said that is a really bad or wrong view for the nature of phenomena. So there he refused, said, I'm not reincarnate or emanation or anything. I was born as an ordinary, and I did really bad things earlier. Because of that guilt, made me put extra effort to free myself from bad consequences. That way I practice hard, so I achieve this one. Make sense? So that give us, Milarepa give us a good example. Ordinary being, if we put effort enough, we can have that potential to can achieve something. Make sense? Otherwise, so that reason, we cannot be discouraged that, I'm not good enough or I cannot do this one. Anyone can do. Milarepa said, if you dig ground anywhere, you will find water some point. You will find the water when you dig the ground. Some place maybe need dig deeper, some need less. But you will find the water. Same thing is when you rub to wood, you will produce the fire. But if you rub too wet wood, you need to rub lot and to get them dry, If you try to rub if you to rub to dry wood, you can produce fire really quicker. some point you will make fire from that. Same thing said human being. If you put effort, there nothing is you can accomplish. So that reason is why we cannot have this discouragement, because we have a Buddha nature. Make sense? Then second one says, contempt for those of lesser ability. Then we look down to the being that lower than us. Somebody is lesser understand than us. So that is not good. So because no matter how much lesser than us, we share same nature. You know. Then believe in the false mean believing real phenomena are inherently exist. You know, wrong view, that kind of. And slandering the true meaning is like saying there is no Buddha nature. You know, there is no Buddhahood. There is no enlightened beings. Especially criticizing on the Buddha nature. Then fifth is self-cherishing. We always said me always. That is our mantra. Yeah. But more we chant that mantra, more we sing deeper in the samsara. So because of those 5 mistakes we do, that reason, even all phenomena are emptiness, Buddha explained the Buddhahood, Buddha nature. So that those of the whom the avoid exists may rid of themselves of this. That's what we declare. Okay. Ultimate and true nature is always be devoid of any compounded things. Therefore, it is taught that the defilement, action, and their fully maturation are like a cloud and so forth. So ultimate true nature is always devoid is of the what called any existing things of the phenomena. That reason is defilements is like a cloud or delusion. They are not exist, not truth. Action and their result. The defilements are taught to be like cloud. Karma is like to be expressed as a dream, and the fully ripening of the karma and the defilement be aggregate are like a conjuration, yeah, or magicians. Defilement as a like we have a different kind of emotion, afflicting emotion. From that afflicting emotion arise as a raise to our positive or negative action. They can, that action is like a dream. From that action, we have a sound, form, feeling, and that's like in the dream. Then from that action, always bring the result, which is we have a 5 aggregate. Like a great magician manifests as a form. Thus was. So now the reason is thus was the present previously, and then the eliminate exist was taught ultimately on this continuum in the way, so that this 5-fold could not be abandoned. Could be abandoned. So there's 5. Not learning this some people are disheartened through the mistaken self-contempt. Bodhicitta will not develop it them. So as earlier I mentioned, when someone have not enough confidence on self, they cannot accomplish the goal, what they want. I think I saw many what called many, can say, advisor. Always I say, believe in you. You have to build that confidence. When you have that belief or confidence, then it is easier to accomplish. One time I was watching that horse show. They jumping on the some horse a little bit hesitate and bump on the wood. Some horse really jump confidently and do better. I think horse, when they do a little bit hesitate, it can see kind of like slow it down at the moment, close to get there. So necessity is the mother of adventure. Adventures. When you have no choice, then you all bring all the good quality. Otherwise, when you have lots of choice, it's difficult to come out. Because lack of a confidence, it happens. When you have no other choice, then you have confidence or not, but you do heartfully, 100% it, then you'll so that's talking about. Some people through pride think I'm better because bodhicitta has dawned in them. They dwell instantly in the notion that those in whom it has not dawned are inferior. I'm great, I'm bodhisattva, I'm practitioner. I received this many empowerment. I have this many great lamas. We put our in the resume when we're selling Dharma. That just bring all the problems. Yeah? understand cannot arise in those who think like this. Thus, since they misinterpret the truth, they will not understand the truth. When you think phenomena are real, long as you have that thought, you never reach to the ultimate. Because those two cannot be together. That's exactly we have difficulty to meditate on the daily yoga. We always hold this body, we think this is real. Long as we hold on that, believe in this body is real, my aggregate, I have this body, this shape, this color, it's really difficult to transform to the daily yoga. Even you meditate in daily yoga, still come back to your own ordinary body. It's the same as long as we have a holding the phenomena are real, it's impossible to get to the nature. True nature. True nature is blocked by that concept of phenomena are real. So that is different. Like Saraha can walk through the wall, we cannot. Milareva can walk through the rock. We cannot, yeah? Milareva can lay down on the space, we fall down. That is make different. Because we believe that its phenomena are real. That way we experience the real. Even in the dream, you know, sometimes you're stuck in the house. You couldn't go out. You couldn't find the door. Maybe door is a lock. And we never try to go through the wall. Even in the dream. I mean, I think we can do that. But we have that habit of this is real. Even in the dream, it makes real. Yeah? So it's holding us away from the truth. Bring defect are not truly real, as they are but fabrication and accidental. In reality, these faults are not entity, where the quality are naturally pure. So, what called them? This is, I think, called the speak ill of truth. Yeah, that Buddha nature, naturally present with all the enlightened quality. We don't believe on that, and that nature is not existent with the grasping or what we have the, what called those defilement. Like for example, our anger. It's real. I deserve this one. This is helping me. I have to be angry because of this and that. We're not recognizing that is not part of us. We're not recognizing that is our enemy. So I think that is talking about here. Bringing defect are not truly real, as they are but fabrication and instinctual. In reality, these faults are not entity. So, if one clinging to the fault and the untrue, then disparage quality the true, one will not have the loving kindness of the wise, which seen the similarly between oneself and other. So if one clinging the fault of untrue and disparaging the quality of true is the earlier, repeating from the quote 164. That is called the speaking the true ill of the true nature. If you have that one, you have that clinging the fault or if one clinging to be false and the untrue and disparage the quality of the true, then what's happened will not have the loving kindness of wise. So this is a loving kindness, like love as what we said, oh, I love you, and this. This is a loving kindness of seeing every sentient being as a Buddha. Make sense?
This is what you started out with, when you said the emptiness and compassion together, there is a sense, right? That's where you start.
Yeah, but this loving kindness is not talking about same that way. This loving kindness mean like you see them as a Buddhahood.
Yes.
That kind of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are looking at.
Here is basically this word as a loving kindness, but maybe ultimately the same, but here the kind of basically saying is when you see everyone as a Buddha or enlightened being, that is you show as your love. Yeah.
So here,
when you cherishing yourself, you don't have that love because you put yourself as most important.
So the essence you're talking about is that without attachment and without aversion.
Yes.
So we're looking at that.
Yes.
Quality.
Yes. Yeah. So here saying is you not have loving kindness of the wise. Wise is talking about the Bodhisattva. Loving kindness of seeing sentient being as a Buddha. Mm-hmm. Yes. Which seen the similarly between oneself and other. Okay, last paragraph. To learning in such a fashion, there arise enthusiastic, diligent respect as for Buddha, Parajnana, Jnana, and great love by this. So now here, one small can say one small argument comes because of this five false with 5 reasons. Some say is Buddha nature is not professional teachings. Now, Buddha nature is not ultimate teachings. It's a professional teachings. So that way, third wheel of Dharma is not can say professional, yeah?
Provisional?
Yeah, professional.
So third wheel of Dharma is provisional. If Buddha nature
No.
Is not ultimate. Buddha nature is provisional.
So that we're saying some argument because these 5 reasons, they're saying this, because of the 5 reasons Buddha explained the Buddha nature. So some say, okay, only these 5 reasons Buddha explained the Buddha nature. That way, teaching of the Buddha nature is not ultimate. It's provisional teachings because of the sentient being need avoid from those 5 mistakes. So for that reason, Buddha taught the Buddha nature teachings. You understood now? So that way, it's not ultimate teachings. It's provisional teachings. Some argument come that way. So that way, third will of Dharma is not the ultimate. Second will of Dharma is the ultimate, and third will of Dharma is the provisional. Make sense? But most of, especially Lord Jiddu Sumgun and everyone, believe that third will of Dharma is the ultimate teaching. Second will of Dharma is a professional of ultimate. Then Pema Kaba said, professional of ultimate. Ultimate professional, can say? Within the ultimate kind of professional teaching. Profession? Yeah?
Provision.
Provision, yes. Yes, yes. Provisional, okay.
Otherwise it sounds like you're saying professional.
So, here, Kamamba Mingyudoji argument. That is not Buddha nature, because these 5 reasons cannot become a Buddha nature is a provision teachings. Reason is, if Buddha nature is a provision teachings, those 5 false, 5 mistakes cannot come. You know? Even Buddha nature is not true, your discouragement is not mistake. You can have discouragement because you have no hope. Because there is no Buddha nature. So that reason is not become a mistake. When you're looking down to the other beings who are lesser than you, it's not become a mistake because they don't have Buddha nature. Make sense? So same those 5 mistake cannot become a mistake if sentient being have no Buddha nature. Because of the Buddha nature, make sense? Because everyone share the equal in Buddha nature, those 5 become mistake. So that way, teaching of the Buddha nature is the ultimate. Ultimate truth, yeah. Or what is the opposite of the profession? It's ultimate. Yeah, ultimate. So otherwise, lots of, I'm sure some argument comes. You may see if you read books, these kind of books, you may see, teaching of the Buddha nature is a professional. Because of these 5 reasons. They only bring those 5 reasons. They said, because of the Buddha taught, Buddha nature is freeing from the 5 mistakes. Only that reason talk about the Buddha nature. But Kama Mingyudoji exactly used that quote. Said, because of its Buddha nature, it become a mistake if you react this. If your attitude this way, it become a mistake. If you don't have a Buddha nature, it's not a mistake. It's real. You know, it's a lower being like hell beings. We can look down them if they don't have a Buddha nature. Generally, they are lower than us. Can say, from this perspective of the body and the condition of the mind, they are lower than us. We can look down. It's not a mistake. But because of the Buddha nature, we all share same equal quality. If you look down them, it's a mistake. Same thing as we can be discouraged. There are no hope we can become enlightened beings. There are no seed. So discouragement is true if there is no Buddha nature. Make sense? But discouragement is a mistake because we have the seed. With having seed, still you believe there is no hope. That is mistake. You have a healthy seed, and you don't believe that seed can produce the fruit. Cannot produce the fruit. That is mistake. Yeah. If you don't have the seed, that's not like you don't have apple seed. You have no hope to plant the apple fruit tree. And you are not not mistake. But when you have a really healthy apple seed, still you not believe that you can have one day apple tree. That is your mistake. Same as what we have discouragement. Yeah? We have a really healthy Buddha nature, seed of Buddhahood. Still we believe, oh, I have no hope to become a Buddhahood. That is mistake. So that reason Miju Doji said, they are mistake because Buddha nature. That's a really good argument. Can you see that? Because of the Buddha nature, when you have this kind of attitude, it becomes a mistake. So, discouragement, looking down to the other beings, not believing the truth, not believing on the Buddha nature, and self-cherishing, those become a mistake. Yes.
4 or 5 minutes to go. Can you ask questions?
Yes. We finished this chapter. Good. Wow. One chapter is gone now. So, first, before the question, I'm going to review this chapter. Mainly explain the two things. First thing is explain about the Buddha nature quality. There's how many quality? 10 qualities. Second one is explain the Buddha nature as a 9 example. Only those two remember. 10 quality, 9 example. That's a kind of briefly can say this whole chapter. Sometimes this what called the, especially in this book, repeating few times, so it make you look like more kind of. But if when you keep on those, then it's become easier. Then conclude by how to. Why Buddha have to talk about the Buddha nature? Because human sentient being have the 5 mistakes. Okay, now what is your question?
Okay, so you said it is from the Dharmakaya that manifests the Sambhavakaya and Nirmanakaya. I understand that. So when we practice though, we practice Nirmanakaya to Sambhavakaya to Dharmakaya. Isn't that correct? We visualize the deities, the Sambhavakaya. It's that becomes, that's usually the path we are taking to the, we don't practice the great perfection or the ultimate fivefold path of Mahamudra.
Yes, yes.
We start from a very simple Guru Yoga or the Four Noble Truths. We move to deity practice,
Yeah.
Samavakaya, from deity practice, hopefully good
Yeah.
Zen.
Yeah.
What is
Yes, that's true. I mean, generation stage is the Rupakaya and the completion stage is the Dharmakaya. So that way, I think this is what is make us easier. For us, imagining the Rupakaya is easier than Dharmakaya.
Yeah, we can't.
You know, that way easy is first and go to harder is later. So that way. But that is how to get there. But this one is how, after they got there, then manifestation. The manifestation come from the Dharmakaya, not from the Rupakaya to Dharmakaya. Make sense?